to see exactly what unfolds in this game, and who would have thought? I mean, historically, CBLOL has put up some great results, not in the last few years, but has been a big contender in the past. And for the longest time, TCL was so far ahead, but this tournament, it's a different story. And as we get to the big man, Flamengo versus RYL Youth.
It is a must-win game here for RYL Youth. Already going to be removing a lot of those power picks we've seen. After last game's sort of weird draft where a lot of stuff fell through the ban phase, will be nice to see a return to some normality here as the classic BRTT Draven ban comes through. Last time these two teams faced off, it was BRTT on that pick, and he looked real good on it.
Yeah, when Dan1 bans the Draven, you ban the Draven. You just like, you're not.
No one wants to deal
respect it. You
with his Draven.
You can't let the Draven go through. It's not something you want to see. I respect the Kiana ban as well. Obviously, Closer's, I think, best game so far was against Dan1, was on this Kiana where he was murdering everybody. And the Syndra is going to be the first pick for Flamengo.
Yuumi open again, but I do like seeing the Syndra come through as a potential flex here. Now, with an early Ezreal on the side of RYL Youth, Ezreal Yuumi is a combo I like a lot. And while Yuumi isn't a permaban champion here, I still think even after the nerfs, very, very strong pickup. Now, Flamengo going for a lot of early power here. You can gank around the bottom lane. We've seen Syndra and Thresh be a very strong 2 versus 2. We'll have to wait and see if BRTT does want to go for that himself, but can throw Thresh alongside so many other champions, have great early game impact.
It'll be interesting to see the LeBlanc now locked in for sure, most likely in the mid lane. And honestly, with the Syndra locked in, I'm happy wherever it goes. I think Goku, we saw how powerful that he was on the Zoe. The Nico, it didn't feel like he was able to have the same influence, but Syndra, a lot of similar pick potential, can look to set up a lot of those plays. And I like the CC present on the side of Flamengo, but on the opposite side, if this LeBlanc gets rolling, she will be terrifying.
Yeah, the last time these guys played against each other was all about, sort of early game power and then winning out in skirmishes. And we saw Goku's Zoe do super well in that type of a situation here. And I think both teams have very strong tools already, so we're not going to be surprised at all once we do get into this game. It is going to be a very similar look, I feel, to the last time.
And I like what we're seeing now on the side of RYL Youth. Robo has been a bit of a weak point for the side of Flamengo. And now, taking away the GP, taking away some of these safer blind pick options, knowing that they have the counter pick, knowing that Arma has been, in the past, one of the strongest players on the team. We can all remember his Game 5 in the TCL where he busted out Jace out of nowhere and single-handedly smashed the early game.
Yeah, I wonder if the Nico gets removed here, something that Robo has gone for in the past. Instead, we'll take away the Kaisa, so don't want that scaling bot lane 2-item terror in the bottom lane. Now, Aurelia is something that Robo loves. We saw him on that earlier, but also just in the CBLOL, so good on that champion. By far, his best pickup throughout the summer.
Oh, the Pyke ban actually coming out. Limiting some of the roaming picks. Do not want the Ezreal just to sit under tower while the Pyke roams. Obviously, some potential safe bot lane options. The Yuumi, interestingly, still up and available.
Oh,
but honestly, if you got to bet it all on a single game, why not bet it on a hook? There it is.
Okay.
It's called a skill shot for a reason. Let's go. Blitzcrank versus Thresh in the bot lane. Hook City actually don't care about what AD carry it is anymore. I would say Tristana for the input buffer to get out of that, but it doesn't matter to me. As long as there's hooks flying, I'm excited.
Yeah, it just so happens that Blitzcrank's got 100 extra range on that grab, too. It's going to be even more difficult to run away from. That's why BRTT's like, well, at least I have a spell shield. You can't hook me if I have that. The Sivir, an interesting pick alongside these other champions, because while I usually consider Sivir is a very strong late game scaling AD carry, you don't really have the front line to be able to back that up. Instead, I think Sivir works as sort of a wave clear bot laner alongside the Thresh to enable Thresh to be able to roam around the rest of the map, and in the mid game just park in mid lane and let the rest of your team get the job done.
And look, I like that they're balancing out some of this early game power with some more scaling options. But now you have the Camille as well. And Rek'Sai and Shrimp feel like the key to getting this game kicked off. Going up against Closer, that's really where I have to cast my eyes. Lee Sin versus Rek'Sai, a matchup that I want to watch.
Oh.
And if this pick, Fiora, I mean, exclusively I think we've seen it recently as a counter pick, and it can be so oppressive if you fall behind.
Royal's been reading the patch notes here, Draco. So we got the Blitzcrank after the buffs. Fiora now. The E and Q both working on towers means a lot more pressure when it comes to split pushing on the map and being able to deal damage onto those towers. But also, you think about the parry, the riposte on that kit, blocking Camille's most impactful spell in that hook shot. Makes this matchup super, super good for Armut.
Definitely does. And now, I feel like we're, despite the draft unfolding the way that it has, I feel like we're in a similar state to last game, where outside of keeping our eyes, of course, on the Blitzcrank and the Thresh to look for some of those big plays, junglers in the early game is where we cast our vision. Lee Sin for closer, up against Shrimp on that Rek'Sai. If they get a single successful gank off at any one of these lanes, it will very much change the way this early game plays out.
I definitely agree with that, because you consider the side lane pressure you have if you get an advantage over your opponent on almost all of these champions. We'll have to wait and see if there's going to be a TP on that LeBlanc. It's going to be TPs on all of the solo laners in this game. All the bot laners too. We got 6 TPs loading in this one. This one's going to be nuts.
We had 2 last game. We got to balance it out. You need 8 TPs every 2 games, or they'll think the summoner spell is underpowered and they'll buff it. So need to make sure the balance team knows that it's still hilariously powerful. And of course, a ton of pressure once again on the TCL, and specifically on Royal Youth. Kind of the hopes of fans resting on their shoulder to force a tiebreaker game. Flamingo Esports up against Royal Youth. And not only do Royal have to win in a matchup they previously lost to force another tiebreaker, they have to do it in a house that is owned by Flamengo fans.
It's Brazil versus Turkey. It's going to be good.
It's absolutely. And if there are any Royal Youth fans in the audience, it's okay if you don't, if you're uncertain, if you want to cheer at this moment. Oh, you're bold. That's bold. You might be outnumbered, friend.
But they're out there.
All right, okay, look. You're the Rek'Sai guy and the Lee Sin guy, and they're playing against each other. So I feel like this is your perfect moment. If you want a 2-minute monologue, I'll go take a bathroom break. I'll come back. You say the jungle stuff.
Yeah, I'll say all the important jungle stuff. I'm the jungle guy. I'm not just limited to any 2 champions. I can do it all.
That's an absolute lie. You are a 2-trick. Don't lie to the people here in the studio.
All right, so I'm already seeing something interesting here. Shrimp can go ahead and start solo on that wolf camp, go wolves red into Krugs, and look for a bottom lane gank. Now, the reason why I call this out is because even though top lane, you think Camille versus Fiora, super explosive up there, I don't think there's a ton of gank assist, especially on the Fiora side, but even on Camille's side, she has the hook shot, but of course, if you try to go on in there, the riposte comes through and it becomes very hard to impact that lane. Whereas bottom lane, you have 2 hook-based champions who want to be stepping forward in the lane and looking for these types of plays. That means, on one hand, you have very strong gank assist, and on the other hand, the other lane is going to want to play aggressively too. So I do think there is some room to look for early plays, especially on a Rek'Sai, especially on blue side. Rek'Sai,
good
come around.
Half shot to help Lucy trade back. One half of the boomerang leg will connect as well, but definitely not the ideal start. Hook cooldown very long. We'll be able to play around it, but I love this path you mentioned from the Rek'Sai earlier on, because he's totally unspotted by wards. He didn't go for the Raptors, goes straight to the red, is pulling it down, just making sure that he is not on any kind of vision. Of course, he can't know 100%, but in this case, very fortunate. They have no idea where the Rek'Sai is. They really just have to guess at this stage.
Exactly, and the smart thing from Flamengo's bot lane is just to allow the wave to be pushed in here. So Tolerance can be, okay, maybe I need to go put down a ward, but he actually started with a sweeper, so it would have to be Pilot to place that one down himself. Now it becomes a lot more difficult to find a gank, especially because your Thresh is only going to be level 2, so he's not going to have access to the Lantern to go for a lane gank. That's what you need if you're Rek'Sai coming through the lane. Unless you just go ahead and flash straight on in. But I think this is a much harder gank to pull off than it would be if they just had one more level.
And Lucy,
what are these guys doing?
This is fearless. That's the handshake. Oh, spots him out.
This is crazy. Shrimp really wants to sneak in.
Lucy's just asking to be hooked, I think, because he knows the Rek'Sai is right there. He says, please, I'll stand in this bush, just hook me.
Well, the thing is, too, Flamengo know there's no ward in this lane bush because there was the ward placed by Pilot and Try, and they know Tolerant started with the sweeper. So if he's able to sneak in, you can try to make a play. Now they have level 3.
Oh, pull back. Tolerant. I think he's just going to need to flash over the wall here.
No, he's got Lee Sin.
Yeah.
It actually turns into a lot of wasted time from Shrimp now because the bot lane was pushing out to allow Shrimp to sneak in down there.
Okay.
Almost a steal. Almost a steal. But he's got the pressure to be able to walk up and take that.
I'm not going to lie, this is what I live for. I know it's a scuttle crab, and it really does not matter that much in the scheme of things, but that hook brought me life. Wanted to see the steal. Forces the smite out. Shrimp at a horrible disadvantage now. Just kidding. Goes into the mid lane. Seal. Whoa. Goku stepping forward.
There's no Ignite on the Goku, so it's a little bit more difficult to actually set down that LeBlanc and get that kill, but what it does allow is for Shrimp to play for both crabs now. So while Shrimp did end up theoretically wasting a lot of time around that bottom side of the map, didn't get anything to happen, now he has both crabs and can go back and farm.
Look at the confidence. BRTT just stepping forward. Tolerant going to burn the mana shield. Forced to walk away here. Tolerant really thought he started a fight on his terms, but BRTT instantly steps forward and wins the trade.
And remember, this is double TP for our bot laners here, so there's no heals coming through to try and save people. With Ignite up, it means a whole lot more kill pressure in these lanes, but BRTT running out of mana probably just wants to clear this next wave and make a trip back to base, pick up some items, and teleport back in, continue clearing waves. That's the dream for BRTT in this game. It's not a Draven game. It's not about lane domination. It's about reaching the point where you can just sit back by yourself and clear waves and allow Lucy to make plays around the map.
And look, he's 4-0 on Sivir. CB Law Winter. Fantastic stat. So maybe finds a loss here, but right now things are going very well. Overall, you're checking across the map, you look at some of the CS, pretty much everything the same. You can see Shrimp obviously coming out on top in the double Scuttle Crab exchange, gives him a bit of an XP lead too, presumably, and overall starts Krugs very early. This is one of your favorite things, Ender, you know, starting Krugs early,
yep.
Get him respawning early, which means more experience. Huge camp in the early to mid game.
Now the question is, when do we see plays made around this mid lane? Because I do think there's a lot of setup and just raw damage, especially once level 6 comes around from Goku. We see that tick over happen now, but both of our junglers, or rather just Shrimp, needs to go back to base and get his first item. And that becomes the question for me. Can they control an area or one of the sides of mid lane with control wards to allow a potential Lucy roam up? Or if they want to focus their pressure on top side of the map, Robo, once he hits level 6, provides a lot of gank assist. But regardless, I think the mobility of Flamengo moving between, you know, their side lanes towards mid could open up good windows to put the punishment down on Seoul.
Yeah, kind of just keeping our eyes on these supports as well as the junglers. Both of them really freed up to roam. Tolerant comes back to make sure that he catches his experience as the creep wave crashes, and Goku does have to be careful. Closer waiting here. Goku throws out the stun. His only disengaged tool now gone, has to walk away. Is he going to be forced to flash? No! Snare misses. We have to keep our eyes on two separate places at the same time. Lucy now has to run for his life. Does manage to make it to that one without flashing. And Goku does also walk away from the gank with his flash up too, so both of RYL's shots kind of missing. Really good start now for Flamengo. Yep, Flamengo.
Flamengo, closer, not level 6, but still taking the trade. He has Red Smite, so always going to win these 1v1s up against Shrimp. But Lucy making sure it's not a 1v1 and forces the control ward to be effectively wasted there from closer, using that to jump away. But will the fight over the crab happen? Because both the Shrimp and Lucy are relatively low, and with the pressure, Pilot is generating bottom side too, allowing Tolerant to make this roam up and happen. Closer is going to be the beneficiary of that pressure and be able to pick up the crab.
And at this stage of the game, you've got your double jungle in the sense that neither support is going bot lane ever. You've got your AD carries just kind of solo farming it out here. BRTT letting this wave stack. Looks like wants to protect it, but has to be careful. The new Blitzcrank hook range is incredibly deceptive. Very long.
He's waiting a way back there, trying to sneak it through the terrain. BRTT be caught unsuspecting.
Pilot, of course, now level 6, a lot more potential burst damage in this lane. Not something you necessarily think about a lot from an Ezreal, but the full combo combined with a Blitzcrank full combo level 6 can certainly 100-0 a lot of the squishier champs in the game.
I just want to see someone make a play now, because both our mid laners have gone back to base. They've got their lost chapters. Our junglers are, well, closer is almost level 6, Shrimp as well. Once they hit level 6, make something happen here. Seems like both teams are just really content farming it out, which I don't love, especially when you have all this early game playmaking power.
That's fair, but also on the opposite side, RYL, they got double kleptomancies. They're slowly building a gold lead through the power of, theft. Works out nicely for them, and I think the Fiora's fine, like you talked about. She doesn't necessarily, she can monster duels as we move later in the game, but she doesn't really have any gank assists. So the fact that she hasn't been under any threat whatsoever is a pretty nice situation to be in, and Blitzcrank can still at any moment find a single hook that could blow this lane phase wide open.
So I think with nothing happening, RYL are going to be the team that is happier with the result here, primarily because, if they can just get Arma to scale up in this side lane when he will eventually just take over later on, Seal as well is going to be much more effective in a side lane as well if they wanted to break out into 1-3-1 than a Syndra who, without that added mobility, can't really step forward and pressure inside of lanes.
Snare connects though, that's going to be big. Tolerant on the way up, Lee Sin is here as well, and misses that. That's going to be be it. Goku's going to go down here in an instant. Is he being able to make it out of this one? They don't get the damage. Goku escapes. How is that possible? Seal now trying to make up for it. Now trying to go back in. The rest of the team is on the way. Shrimp going to pull back. Goku should have been dead. I cannot believe it.
But Tolerant actually pulled Goku out of the Lee Sin Q that was coming in. That's actually how he survived right there. Goku just realized, wait a second, there's no more damage. I guess I can flash away. His jungler was there too, so that gank goes horribly awry. This is what I've been waiting for. The mobility to come around this mid lane and make something happen from either of these two sides, but a little bit of a misplay there means no kills go through.
Yeah, that's really got to be frustrating, because that was kind of the play we were maybe looking for. You got to Blitzcrank, you got to Lee Sin, you got to LeBlanc. There's so much setup. If one form of CC lands, surely Goku on the Syndra, a champion with limited to no mobility, should have been taken out, but Hook?
Yep. And Close was like, okay, well now I have no damage. I guess he could have tried to flash kick, but potentially risky there, and Shrimp almost even able to turn that around too, so everything going in favor of Flamengo.
Yeah, grabbing that one, definitely solid. A lot of resources burned mid lane. Of course, have to see. Maybe the flash difference does matter as we move later in the mid game. Need to punish that window. Excuse me, if you're on the side of RYL.
Yeah, that's the big thing now. It becomes so much easier, and RYL also do have a small gold lead at the moment, so you can see Armut, even without any assist in terms of utility and setting up for kills onto Goku, it makes it really hard for Goku to play this lane because he knows Blitzcrank isn't bot lane. That means he's probably mid lane. He doesn't know where Lee Sin is either, so he has to hug this tower, and without the flash and without the ultimate for a few more seconds, it makes it harder for Shrimp to play around mid lane too, because if you overcommit, Goku has no way out now.
And it's crazy to me that BRTT is level 8 and Lucy is level 5. This guy has been roaming so much, and it's a similar story for Tolerant. Lucy hasn't even finished his support item or upgraded it whatsoever. You gotta wonder, a lot of those roams not paying off, but Tolerant now ticks over to level 6. They don't have information on that. It does provide a lot more kill pressure, but they're not really looking to make any plays. It feels like around the bottom side. Blitzcrank just going to take the safe way around, make sure he can grab a bit more XP, a few more coins off the ground. And RYL, even with bot lane pushed in, still very comfortable to start this one up. There's no contest. They don't even know that it's happening. This is a very easy objective take for RYL. Not an explosive fight to take as we so often see, but just going to go down uncontested.
This is a bit of a ripple effect coming from the draft and the top lane matchup they got, as well as that gank around mid lane earlier. Just the fact that they do have pressure in both of those solo lanes around this neutral objective, and they are reasonably sure there's no vision in that area, so they can go ahead and pick that one up. And now 3 minutes before plating falls, I personally want to see Closer get into the top lane and donate the solo money over towards Armut. Just try to accelerate this laning phase, because once we see the Ravenous Hydra come in, a lot of Fioras now will go for Trinity Force as a second item. This matchup will just start to really break wide open.
Yeah, and for Robo, obviously taking the very defensive mastery choice doesn't really give him any more combat power. Oh, hold that. I'm going to push in for a bit more. Doesn't give him any more combat power, right? Gives him a bit more healing, makes him a bit more comfortable in the laning phase, but it's not like the Kleptomancy is being outclassed in extended trades by the likes of a Press the Attack or a Conqueror. So just doing what he can to survive in terms of health trades, but a full all-in, not going to feel that great against the likes of a Ravenous Hydra. Robo, though, still coming out on top overall. Maybe see him go for the all-in. Very difficult, though. Oh, hold that thought. BRTT gets pulled back, forced to flash away. They're now trying to chase him down. The spell shield comes out. Good damage traded back. BRTT stepping forward despite the low health bar. Ooh. Does not connect from Lucy.
So dangerous.
Playing with fire there. But the jungler on the bottom side means that he can push in. Shrimp and Lucy waiting in the brush. Of course, trying to use the Tremor Sense, seeing what they can spot. Tolerant. Long hook range. Don't know if he can get it from there. Hookshot wall dive, but he doesn't connect the stun. That's massive. Robo can push in for the kill now. That missing is just about everything, but Fiora going to try to turn it around. If she gets the fourth vital, she's going to heal right back up. Very close fight. Flash out, traded on both sides. Robo finds a very successful trade.
That fight completely turns around if Armut is able to turn around the riposte and connect it right there. We see this is a spicy matchup up in the top lane. There is room for outplay on the side of Robo, but he has to go for these all-ins, because anytime you take this one-for-one trade, you see a Ravenous Hydra on the other side. The sustain is going to mean that it is a losing battle in the long run.
Just catastrophic that he did not connect on the stun there on the hookshot wall dive. Just aimed it the wrong way.
I like this move from Shrimp, though. He knows no flash, no ultimate on towards Fiora, and they can use Shrimp's ultimate to try and reset aggro if they go for the dive.
Yeah, hook shot. Can still parry. A good amount of damage coming here. Shrimp tries to finish him off with the ult. Warfishes for the knockup.
Diving Fiora is always hard though because of the riposte. On Rek'Sai, you have to basically, you play the waiting game, you know?
You like flash in and don't W.
No, straight up, that's actually what you do sometimes. You have to play mind games with them and make sure they can never predict exactly what you're going to be doing.
Is it embarrassing as a Rek'Sai when you flash in, don't W, and then they don't W and just walk away from you?
Well, no, it's more embarrassing when you wait a second and then you're like, okay, I guess he's not pressing W, and then you press W, and then you get stopped.
You should learn the ability names so we don't just have to say W.
Riposte and Unburrow.
Oh, you're so good. Look at you.
There you go.
There it is.
Now just waiting again. Turret plating has fallen off and no Herald has been used. There's a lot of vision control for RYL on the bot side of the map, so Closer maybe makes a play, but he has no ward to hop with because he still has the Herald and not a trinket.
Oh, Goku, though, taking a lot more damage in this exchange. Lost chapter.
So that's awkward. I'm going to call communication error.
Yeah, that's LeBlanc's fault. That is purely LeBlanc's fault. The setup was clearly there. Closer clearly went in for it. He has used flash.
Well, I just want to know, are they actually talking to each other? Because if they are, then Seal should know that Closer wants to make that play because a flash W into a Q from Lee Sin, that could actually be a kill on towards Goku, but instead it's just an actually wasted summoner spell and so much playmaking absolutely gone from the Royal jungler.
Very true.
And Closer is the player too that in Royals, you know, good games, in their good early games, he's the one that's getting them off to a good start. You know, we saw him on the Karthus last time. I wasn't impressed by that. Then we see him on more playmakers, and he gets stuff done. The fact that he lost that now is huge.
Big hook. Thresh instantly killed. Arma gets the reset. The healing circle is there. BRTT now caught in the midst of the team. That's going to be massive. Easy fight for Royal. Move right in for the Mountain Drake. Robo going to have to do what he can on the top side. Don't think he can get anything else, though. Seal Intolerance still stepping in. Goku. Ooh, good sidestep on the hook. Level 11 for the Syndra. Can look for something here, but I think just needs to back off. Shrimp retreating. Massive damage from the LeBlanc already. Now that she's finished that looted, she's looking scarier and scarier.
Herald not going to go to great effect there. Only 700 HP on it when it finally found the charge, so no plates and no real gains gotten. But Royal, with those 2 kills, as well as the Mountain Drake, is going to give him a lot more ability to play faster and looser in the later stages of the game, because especially when you have a champion like the Blitzcrank.
Oh, hook connects, pulls back. LeBlanc trying to retreat, Seal on the run. Rek'Sai goes under, comes up, they're fishing for it. LeBlanc goes down, and now Tolerant needs to get out of there. Great pick for Flamingo. Doesn't make up for the play earlier, but does start to get them back into the gold game. You can see 1.7K, 1.8K now for Royal.
And revenge for Shrimp. Gets killed back there around that mid lane. Flash down too, so way more ability for Shrimp to make a return play happen, because that's what we were waiting for. This early game felt super, super slow when you see Lee Sin, Syndra on one side, or Lee Sin, LeBlanc on one side, Rek'Sai, Syndra on the other. There's so much playmaking to be had, and it's 16.5 minutes. It's 1 kill to 2. But now that the map has been broken up, even though turrets are still up, the teams are spreading around this map and looking for these rotations. The team that can move quicker and faster as a group is the one that's going to be able to get larger and larger leads.
And Robo starting to be a lot more confidence in this, or a lot more confident in this match. Of course, hard for him to really win any extended trade given the Ravenous Hydra and the lifesteal that Arma can just use to heal up off the creep wave. So maybe they can threaten a dive. Really, at this point, all about baiting the riposte. Little do they know, however, Tolerant is waiting in the darkness. They will know now, however, as he did drop a ward. Not entirely sure, I think, who's there, but they know someone is on the top side.
Tolerant, does he go for it?
He will be spotted.
At the same time, though, you look bottom lane, Seal is pushing down there. No TPs on either of our mid laners, but he's trying to get a little bit of work done here. Level 11s have come through, too, so the extra burst damage is going to be absolutely massive between these 2 players who have gone for absolutely no defensive stats. It's just...
Oh, the knockback series into the tower! Oh, man! What are you doing? That was clean from Goku.
Goku just slapped him. He's like, you really want to come into the tower? You're not going to leave, buddy.
I mean, if you follow the DBZ canon, it's a really bad idea to go one-on-one with Goku. It has literally never worked out for any character in the show.
You've got to bring your friends, and even then.
Eventually wins. It's the Goku story. All right. But that's brutal for the LeBlanc. Of course, she still has a lot of kill pressure if this happens again, but just so well played by Goku.
And it's right when I say there's not a lot of defensive stats, a really good reaction time as well. Goku didn't have vision, I don't think, over that wall of Seal making that move, so instant EQ combo to get that stun right up against the wall. And because, of course, Seal had dealt damage to him, he was trying to go for a little bit of poke. The tower was definitely on Goku's side.
And I love the way that he stepped forward, knowing LeBlanc would, the second the stun was over, step back, just in case the ult didn't finish, would have been in position to launch another Dark Sphere and to finish off the kill. So, solid play from Goku. RYL, though, still very much ahead. 2K gold lead. Despite that, going to matter a lot in the 1v1. Overall, as a team, change in an instant, though. The Ezreal pilot now needs to run. Hook comes out, hits the Thresh. Thresh now going to be in trouble. Doesn't really have any more resistances left. Pop goes the Blitzcrank, and down goes the Thresh.
Ezreal's got a way out. Thresh does not right there. So the trade in favor of RYL. And these are the plays we need to see them continue to make, because whenever you're in an elimination game, you wonder, like, what are the nerves like? Do you sometimes feel like you're forced to make too much of a play? That's what it felt like a little bit with Seal on that bottom side of the map. Then they turn it right back around to get into the correct headspace and find that kill. And what I was mentioning earlier about RYL picking up the Mountain Drake is that once we get into a point of the game where RYL have control on the map, they have the Mountain too, you can force Flamingo to come into you without pressure, without vision, and then the hook comes in, and they're dead, and you've got a one fight.
And I love the way the Shrimp is shadowing under Goku, making sure that he can continue to push up despite the lack of mobility, but he needs to be careful because there's no man advantage here. Goku needs to retreat. There's no Lantern there for Shrimp, but Lucy comes in just in time. Going to deny the play, and it looks like RYL don't want to take the 3v3 up against the Syndra, knowing one of them could just get one shot at to kick the fight off.
It's coming into the Drake, spawning in 45 seconds. Both teams definitely want to be playing for this one. At the moment, Robo had made that rotation down towards mid, so Armut fully pushing out that minion wave. Now, by the time Armut decides to group up with his team, if he wants to do that, it would be time for Robo to try and push out the wave, but it might just be a fight.
Robo, what can he do here? BRTT is on the way. Armut going to parry what he can. Ezreal comes in. Armut now on the retreat. Has the blast cone to make it out to safety. Takes two members' time. BRTT, is he going to go for it? The flash over the wall. They're chasing the Fiora. The flash forward, the tack sweep. He's trying to get one back, but Robo takes him out.
Flamengo putting everything into that gank on the top side of the map. Both ultimates, both flashes. BRTT losing his as well. But 30 seconds on Armut means that Flamengo could make their way down here, try to pick themselves up a Mountain Drake. But you have to consider coming to this fight. The spells they've lost.
He's pulling back. Should be able to get out, but no! Thresh gonna grab the kill, and Goku does so much damage in these exchanges. A single mistake from LeBlanc comes up and takes down.
This game is starting to heat up. It's getting faster and faster. Good spell shield there from BRTT, and you have to be able to locate where are the enemies on the opposite side of the map, because RYL right there, they see two people chasing down Armut in the top laner, so Seal gets more confidence, but he doesn't realize that there could be multiple people hiding inside of a bush and able to find that kill, so Seal definitely being punished now, as he's not able to track where the enemy team is on the map.
Flamengo. Look, and this is the thing, Ender, is that you are, in this moment, you're a RYL youth, historically, playing for the TCL, more successful than the CBLOL. You are playing in an elimination game. If you win this, you get a tiebreaker later in the day, the only tiebreaker of the day. You have to beat Flamengo 2 times back-to-back if you want to come out on top. And now you are this far behind on LeBlanc. You are Seal, and you have died twice going in for an aggressive play. I think you might start to doubt yourself, and that's an incredibly difficult position to be in. Oh, but Tolerant does it. A lot of misses there. Fantastic patience on the spell shield from BRTT.
And you talk about the mentality too. You make that misplay as taunt. You flash forward and you do not connect the silence. Then he spell shields the hook, and you're basically getting taunted by the crowd as it does not come through. And yes, RYL have the gold lead right now, but you can't make these mistakes.
Going in closer. The knockup is there. Rek'Sai's going to be able to chase the ultimate in an instant, but they take down Lucy. Maybe now that they can turn the fight. Lee Sin on the retreat. Rek'Sai still with ultimate up and available. Robo on the way down, on the hunt now, burned. Mid lane tower in the sights of Flamengo.
Really big win here as Armut, the superior split pusher, has the TP advantage right now. These one-for-one trades going to be buying more and more time for him to get stuff done on this bottom side of the map. But I just love that we keep getting these sort of tit-for-tat trades. You know, it's one-for-one on opposite sides of the map right there, just trading with these hook champions. When we get our first big team fight, that's going to be so telling as to who can extend the game. As Hex Flash of the wall. What? Did he cancel it?
I think he canceled. He thought he could hit the hook.
I think he canceled it with hook.
All right, Tolerant pulling back, but does threaten, and it means the mid lane tower is going to be in trouble. Tolerant is now in trouble, but the mid lane tower has already gone down. The rest of Flamengo now on the way. Blitzcrank gets deleted to kick the fight off. Big Ezreal connects onto 3. Shill now stepping forward. Shrimp is going to be able to back away. Bit of a miss there from RYL. They grabbed the mid lane tower, though. They have to be happy with that one, but not ideal to lose the Blitzcrank in the trade.
I guess you can step back from that and say worth, but obviously want to hold on to your players. 3 minutes on the next mountain, but I don't think these teams are actually fighting over objectives primarily. It's vision control inside of the river, because when you have 2 pick-focused team compositions, the team with superior vision control is usually the team that wins. When you are forced to walk into the fog of war and a thresh hook comes out of nowhere or the blitz hand comes out, you actually just can't react to that in a lot of these situations unless you are, a Sivir walking forward with a spell shield. So that the combat in River is something we're going to continue to see, especially as objectives become more and more prevalent with the Baron.
And I'm curious to see if RYL continue to set their sights on the side lane with this Fiora, if they can actually continue to push Arma forward. Obviously he has the TP advantage. Now has built the BF sword. I think a conservative player would say GA third item. I kind of hope it's a Spear Shojin. Haven't seen a Spear Shojin Fiora yet, but I think that'd be pretty hype.
Could be fun. Now the thing about Fiora is that it's sort of interesting because usually you consider super strong in any isolated duel, but also how do you play that within a team fight? You lose the big Q trades against Robo. He had that second charge channeled up. But realistically, when you're looking at Armut in these later fights, you think, okay, when can he go in? It's probably when stuff like the Thresh FLA is down or Cinder doesn't have access to the E to scatter the weak and knock you to the side. But it's about target access, and that is where Fiora is going to be weaker. She doesn't have the ability to close the gap necessarily, but if she does get on top of you, that is where she will beat you in the fights.
Very difficult to do, though, up against the likes of a Sivir with both the Spell Shield as well as the On the Hunt. And once again, we talked about the difference in 80 carry scaling. Ezreal usually very powerful around these two items. He should be feeling comfortable, but the later and later we get, the more and more BRTT will have under his belt, and a late-game Sivir is so difficult for any team to deal with. You can always prey on that Miracle Hook, but not a position you want to be in.
RYL do have some good tools to deal with it, though. Like, if you consider Seal jumping in to try and burn a spell shield with a couple of pokes from Qs, you can try to isolate BRTT, make him waste his cooldowns, even if you aren't killing him, because BRTT doesn't have the greatest front line in this game. It's a lot of fighters, no true tanks. It is hard to just park in the back line of a team fight and chuck out auto attacks, so you can try to get these spread out fights, and that's where Sivir is going to struggle, where she can't actually find the ricochets to get that big AoE teamfight damage.
But you can still see 1.2k gold lead. As we look at the gold, you can see a big difference between the top laners. That is both the CS advantage coming in for Fiora, as well as the Klepto. Hook will connect, but of course Spell Shield there to block it. And Ezreal also with a decent lead at this stage.
I thought both mid laners went for some pretty interesting itemization here. Banshee Veil second on both of them, knowing that the utility of being able to absorb that first hook is going to be so crucial in these situations. They don't actually want the damage. They just want to be able to survive, because you'd much rather have a 5v5 where you deal less damage than a 4v5 where you can't deal any.
Very true. Goku constantly fishing with these Scatter the Weaks. Feels like he's always just on the edge of the hitbox, but not able to make it work. Lucy now stepping in. Hook shot, wall dive. They grab the Lee Sin. Closer, instantly going to get deleted. And now they continue to set the fight forward. The Camille steps in, but that's not what they needed at all. A 1-for-1 trade in the end. What's pulling him back?
Every single time, it's the hook trades right there to single off kills. And you can see the vision game so important as BRTT can get a little bit chunked right here. But it's that ward behind the wall where Shrimp can sit, where Lucy can sit there as well and look for the engages that are almost always going to result in kills.
Good movement from Pilot to get away from the Cinder there. Dodging out on the Scatter the Weak. In the meantime, lo and behold, who's on the side lane just continuously pushing in to none other than Arma. And Goku can step forward, but this is very difficult. Can block the ult or the stun, both of which are pretty crucial. BRTT on the way, but no ultimate. The whole team is now collapsing.
Yeah, but they can't actually get the distance closed on towards Armut with the rest of RYL moving down. This Mountain Drake's still up, though. The respawn's going to be coming through from Robo, but he does not have the teleport. So Flamengo are going to back away and give RYL their second Mountain Drake of the game. This is a huge pickup for them at the 27-minute mark in the game.
Armut gonna give me a Spear Shojin, a Fiora, it looks like. So the duels, the Q trades may be favorable at first for the Camille, but an extended fight you have to give in favor of the Fiora. Will make her a terror to play against. Flamengo, though, not concerned. They give up the second Mountain Drake, but they grab the mid lane tower.
And that'll end up canceling the TP coming through from Seal. His TP not going to be the most crucial thing in this game. 1-3-1 is not the name of the game. It is just 1-4 split for the majority of times as Flamengo continue to try and group with Robo around objectives. This is what we're going to see is Robo coming in with a numbers advantage, and that's how they get vision control. Because they have the stronger team fighter / initiating top laner, Robo will be on the move constantly, whereas Armut says, okay team, sacrifice the vision game in River, play when you know there aren't going to be multiple members of Flamengo in the area, and just let me get stuff done down bottom lane, because no one will be able to hold him. Robo can try to clear waves. He has the Ravenous Hydra now to try and take trades and also have the AoE on the minions, but ultimately that inhibitor tower is going to get tested, and that is where the game gets most exciting, because it will become a question of, do RYL call off the split push to come into a 5v5, or are Flamengo just going to be able to force a fight?
It's rough for Robo because while overall he may get to help the team more, he has to sacrifice the individual a lot more too. And you can see Camille, or rather Fiora, constantly pushing up, constantly getting the Krugs, building an XP advantage, level 15 to level 16, and just so much gold being funneled in Armut now as he's just being left on his own to farm every single wave coming through bot lane.
So the most important thing to look at when we're playing these types of pick compositions is who controls the river bushes around mid lane. Those are going to be right here, where a large member of RYL are at the moment when we're playing around Baron, and the bottom one when the focus is on Drake. So right now it's about that control ward that Pilot is sitting on right now, because if you control that and you have Blitzcrank sitting in the bush, Flamengo can't step up to the wave. That means you hit the wave first, you clear it first, and then you move into the jungle. Then you put down more pressure. Makes them play on the defense the whole time.
The Blitzcrank, they don't care. They're going to go on him anyway. Tolerant immediately blown up. BRTT now on the hunt. Closer needs to run for his life. The flash hook from Lucy will not connect. Seal may look to get a kill back here. Fiora cleared out on the bottom side. Are they going to go for the Baron? They have a single Mountain Drake to back them up, but the jungler is still up. Doing fine. It will just be the vision control over to the side of Flamengo.
They don't have a true tank, so it's a little bit hard. Maybe Goku not able to unleash his power and find the fight. Flamengo, the play was there. If they wanted to start up the Baron, they could pull the TP out of Armut. It would have been a big win, but now...
Go down. The hookshot wall dive is going to get stunned up. The ultimate comes out. Armut's still going to find the 1v1 in the end. Locked in the Hextech ultimatum for a few more seconds, but he gets it. The solo kill, and now RYL instantly collapses in the mid lane. BRTT will get nothing back. Goku taken down as well.
RYL have just won everywhere, and Tolerant respawned as well. Shrimp is alive, but RYL will head over to the Baron right now. They have double mountain. They have TP on Armut. Flamengo would have to pull off some kind of a miracle, and it's just not possible. Now the TP comes into the bottom lane. They're trying to get an inhibitor and a Baron at the same time.
Massive, massive play coming in. Will it cost them? No. Flamengo are just going to respond to the bottom side. They don't want to give up this inhibitor. They're not going to contest the Baron whatsoever, and that means RYL going to extend their gold lead, going to grab this Baron completely and totally uncontested, and are now in pole position to take the game.
I just think it's such a smart call from Armut too. And in a lot of situations like this, you would say TPing bot lane may be risky, but instead he's able to break open the base and have a lot more threat moving forward. You can see it's Seal just going solo play right now. The rest of Flamengo was backing away. But Goku cancels recall to come in. Now he's dead too. Not able to get the damage down onto Closer. He splits it between him and Seal. So that's just 2 quick kills, and you can see RYL, with their chances to move on in Worlds on the line, just absolutely ecstatic.
You have to remember, I mean, you make it to the best of 5, whatever happened in this group stage is just inconsequential. All that matters is you made it that far. All that matters is you put up good results in that best of 5, and that's what RYL have their eyes set on. Even if they take this game, they're going to have to win one more. They're going to have to win the tiebreaker as well. But now, Flamengo on the hunt ready, looking for an opportunity to shut this down. Not the ideal use. We're really hoping to find a pick there. Fiora is going to be able to move in on the bottom side.
The idea is just preemptively clearing away at the wave, I think, because just 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on that Baron push means it could be hard to actually get any more now. What Armut needs is his whole team to sync up the wave pushes in both mid lane and top lane, or at least around that mid lane. Otherwise, he can never step forward. He can keep the minions buffed, but with his team spread around the map and without him having a TP or anyone on his team really being able to react, they can't get anything done.
Armut now running.
This is a deep chase.
Through the ulti now coming out. Fiora desperately to try to get that one out. Big stun connects him, but Armut just instantly shut down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the fight turning in favor of RYL. BRTT gets knocked out.
But that's just a lost trade now. BRTT in the mid lane, there's no reason to be there. Now RYL have access to the inhibitor. The play was good. Flamengo chased for a long time, but they needed players to stay alive mid lane. Now that inhibitor on 50% HP, it's 4v4, and RYL are going to get it.
Maybe they can win the fight, the follow-up fight, but instead the top lane is their focus. They want to hold on to this one. They're willing to give up 1 inhibitor. They don't want to give up 2. Now the hold for Flamengo. RYL in a fantastic position. Robo fishing now for the stun. Seal goes right back in, knowing the hookshot wall dive is off cooldown. They need to block the creep wave. RYL are just walking around the map, picking this off. Without BRTT up and available, they have no way to run down the opposition. Too many mobile champions on the enemy team. They cannot contest this push.
And a wave is being pushed in the top lane too. Flamengo are not able to force the fight. They use their cooldowns to make that pick happen in the bottom lane. They're not committing.
Hookshot wall dive won't work. They're just trying to keep the inhibitor alive. But meanwhile, Fuel on the top side is going to break the tower. Could potentially just be 3 inhibitors. BRTT is back up. This should mean now the hold for Flamengo, but they have no inhib towers left.
What a disaster there for Flamengo. I mean, potentially a game-losing mistake from BRTT in the mid lane. They'd gotten the pick down bottom side. They'd gotten what they needed to have 5v4, to be able to survive. But instead it was BRTT. Oh, that's the play from Tolerant. It finally worked out. The flash into the silence just to break the spell shield. Not a lot you can do there.
BRTT with flashed up has to be hitting himself on that one. But Tolerant, the perfect blitz combo, exactly what you want when push came to shove. He was the difference maker. That is the sole reason the team was able to break open the base in that exchange. The Blitzcrank pick paying off for the side of RYL.
It's exactly what they needed. Remember that bot lane inhibitor? Dangerously low too, so Armut going to be able to move in towards that objective.
What?
Okay, that's a Cinder W.
All right.
Clever. No, it's mine.
Yeah, able to take that one. Blue buff. Probably not make or break at this point in the game, but given the amount of wave clear that will be happening. Actually, the really good news, though, for Flamengo at this stage is, while, yes, you are in terrifying situation at this stage, BRTT is going to get a lot of farm.
Look at the top lane, though. That's is that a 5,000 gold difference? Am I seeing that correctly?
That is, yeah, just about.
That's 4,500 gold difference. That's
not
ridiculous.
Not going to stop Robo from going in, though, on Armut. The entire team is here. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Armut is not the important factor anymore. They need to back out. They need to make sure that their base does not get taken down. It's going to be at least one more inhibitor for the side of RYL for this pick. Is it worth it? Well, now backing off.
This is where I think Armut is playing really intelligently. You say he's getting picked, yes, but he's getting killed so far away from the base. He's wasting their time. He's making himself look juicy. He's making himself look like good bait, but he's forcing Flamengo to chase him so far so that his team can get objectives on the other side. It's what we saw with that Baron push when they took 3 members to kill Royal's top laner. We just saw it again, but can Seal get a kill?
Robo has to be careful here. If he gets picked off right as the Baron is only a minute and 30 seconds away, this is going to be disaster. It's going to cost him so much. But now he's trying to turn the play onto Seal. Now he's trying to turn the play onto the LeBlanc. Is it going to be enough? The Lee Sin coming in, trying to stop it. Stopwatch is there. Robo needs to find a way out of this one. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Who's going to grab it in the end? Seal will get the kill.
Ultimately, I don't think it's going to result in Flamengo losing too much. They've lost 2 inhibitors already. Armut just going to be respawning without a teleport, so RYL just going to back away and collect their minion waves. What it actually does is maybe give Flamengo a little bit of a window to get vision around this Baron buff. Because they saw so many members commit on towards Robo bottom lane, they do have the vision set up. They need to contest around this Baron in 50 seconds. And you know, with your base already pretty much exploded on the side of Flamengo, you are going to have to be picked. You're going to be forced into a fight, right? If it's not in 40 seconds, it's in 2.5 minutes when the Elder Dragon spawns. So having this vision, having the setup to potentially spot out what Tolerant is going to be sitting is going to be crucial.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you're playing against a Thresh versus a Blitzcrank. They need vision to make sure that their team does not just get picked off, that they can't or don't walk into Fog of War and just die.
So one play I could see RYL going for here with Seal picking up blue buff. Slink in down bottom lane behind the Fiora. You can just sneak, get that 2v1, get a kill onto Robo, and then threaten both the inhibitor and the base as well. That's what Goku has the same idea with both these mid laners running teleport. This could get really, really hairy because the 2v2 goes massively in favor of RYL, I think.
These are the tense moments, potentially the final moments. Spotted out. Good use of the ward. Massive wave crashing on top side. Good news. Close in proximity to the Baron. BRTT, oof. Making that money. 4-item Sivir. Gotta respect it in the fights to come, but they need to find a fight, which may be very difficult against this team.
Even in a 1v2, Armut, he has the stopwatch. So he can block so much damage coming through from Goku. He can block the stun with his parry and then block the Unleashed Power with his own ultimate, so the rest of his team could threaten starting up this Baron buff. Everyone has the TPs, but really they just want to find this fight.
A lot of damage being laid down by Goku. Ult coming out for Armut. They are just going to retreat instead, setting their sights on the inhibitor. Seal trying to buy space for Armut to hit. Ulti comes out. I think just trying to force the parry there. But Seal now fearless as the ulti's gone. There's really no kill pressure left for the LeBlanc.
Well, RYL can just keep chipping away at this inhibitor. This is why now BRTT is in the bottom lane. We were talking about how teleports can stop the split push from being a viable option, but not if you step up on 1v2.
Robo just has to dash away.
Yeah, okay, here we go. TP coming in from Goku. They want to find the fight around the Baron, but there's still 2 members from RYL bot lane. They're going to get the inhib.
It's all on Robo. They managed to hook the Lee Sin. That's big. That could be the fight to get kicked off. The Ezreal stops to use his ultimate. What will it cost him? The solo laner's in the base. RYL Youth need to make a way out. Cirque crashes forward. That's going to be huge. Can they take out Closer? Can they get anyone? The Rek'Sai goes under, comes right back out, but Closer still alive. Closer. Look at the base. Get out, but in the meantime, it does not matter. Robo holding on as best he can. BRTT in the midst of everything. Huge damage coming in. Armut needs to find the kill. Can he actually get it? The Sivir now starting to shred through him. That's the shutdown. It's a chaotic game. It is a back and forth, but both teams will remain in this game.
BRTT makes the call in the heat of the moment, abandon the team fight, but save the base. He goes to the recall, and literally everything is gone except Flamengo's Nexus. Brazil are still in this game, but now RYL are picking up the Baron.
3 TPs to the side of RYL. No wards in the base. This is going to be one final hold for the side of Flamengo. 3 inhibs down, base wide open.
And Elder Dragon is spawning as well. Robo and Shrimp will both be dead as that comes onto the Rift. So this is going to be the absolutely most powerful Royal we might be seeing all game here, with only one more structure they've got to knock down.
Just remember, this is not the end of Royal's climb. Even if they find the win here, they have to move into that tiebreaker game later in the day. They will have to give up side selection to the side of Flamengo. Flamengo were able to win much faster than Royal, with 24 minutes compared to the current game time of 38. Very tense match. Not out of the realm of possibility that Flamengo can find the win, but an incredibly tense moment here in the game.
We'll see it one more time because Robo can't really do anything here by himself. He jumps onto Seal to make sure LeBlanc can stop hitting on towards the tower, and then watch BRTT flash forward. Auto gets the reset off the W as well, and Armut realizes he doesn't actually have the DPS, just blindly tank the damage coming through from BRTT and hit that Nexus. So the game does stall out for now, but Seal, waiting in base, does have TP. This is going to be the push that Royal look to stay alive.
And short of selling boots, that is a full build Sivir. I mean, it is possible. It seems highly unlikely. The sheer amount of damage that coming from this Royal comp. If BRTT tanks a single hook, if he miss positions for even a second, all of their wave clear will disappear, and they will lose just the sheer massive creeps coming in.
Flamengo need to make sure they get the team fight. They need to fight before the minions just come on in and give Royal the ability to blindly rush for the Nexus. They must find the initiation. It'll come from Robo or Shrimp.
Hex Flash from Tolerant. Maybe to catch somebody out. Arma, nope. Forced to use the parry. They're backing off. They're playing slow and steady.
Here goes Tolerant.
Stepping forward. Good sidestep. Hook goes in. Does not connect. BRTT now runs in. Good sidestep once again coming in for BRTT. The Sivir's the only person that matters. Can he win the fight? He can't even get in. In the meantime, they're now trying to pull ahead. Sivir's still untouched, but it does not matter. The Camille on the backside is getting so much work done. Shrimp goes golden, but it will not be enough. He gets taken out in the end, and now the fight is turning against Flamengo. BRTT is caught out on his lonesome. Goes into the GA, and that is going to do it. Royal Youth cut down Flamengo. And they will move on later in the day. An explosive final moment. Goku versus the world, but it will not be enough. When push comes to shove, Royal come out on top, and they will force the tiebreaker for the group.
With their backs against the wall, Royal and Turkey's hopes at World need